Have you ever been at a cafe, ordered your coffee, and just wondered what's actually happening inside that cash register? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole process. We're going to build a simple cafe billing system right from scratch. And by doing that, we're going to master one of the most important ideas in all of programming.
Okay, so first things first. Let's really nail down the problem that we're trying to solve here.
I mean, think about it. The cashier taps a few buttons on a screen and boom, out comes a perfectly calculated receipt. It feels like magic, right? But it's not magic, it's code. So the real question is, how would we make a program do that?
I suppose we could just write a program that says, coffee is $3, sandwich is $5. But what happens when the next customer wants 4 muffins? Or what if the price of coffee goes up next week? We'd have to rewrite our code every single time. That's called hard coding. And trust me, it's a programmer's nightmare. There has to be a better way.
And of course, there is a better way. This brings us to the hero of our story, the tool that's going to make our whole system smart and flexible: variables. Let's talk about this programming superpower.
So what even is a variable? Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like a labeled box. You can put something inside it, say the number 3, and then you give that box a name, like coffee_price. Now, anytime you need the price of a coffee, you just grab the box with that label. You don't have to worry about the number inside anymore.
And this slide just makes it crystal clear. Over on the left, you've got that messy, hard-coded approach. But on the right, that's the elegance of using variables. If the coffee price changes from $3 to $4, you just change it in that one single spot. It's so much cleaner and way more efficient.
And you know what's great? To build our whole receipt, we only need 2 really simple tools from Python. First, the equal sign. We use that to assign a value to our variable, to put something in the box. And second, just some basic math, like the little star for multiplication and the plus sign for addition. That's it. With just these, we can build the whole thing.
All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually make our first calculation. We'll start simple with just the coffee.
It's really just a simple 3-step process. First, we need to know the quantity. How many coffees are they buying? Second, we need the price of just one coffee. And third, we just multiply those 2 things together to get the total cost. See? Not so scary at all.
And here's what that exact logic looks like as actual Python code. We create a variable called coffee quantity and put it 2 in it. Then another called coffee price and put it 3 in it. Finally, we make a new variable, total coffee, and we tell the computer to just store the result of multiplying the quantity by the price. It's like a simple recipe for the computer to follow.
And this is the result. Our code takes those variables and spits out this perfectly clear, readable line for our receipt. We've just successfully calculated the cost of 2 coffees. That's our first win.
Okay, so now that we've cracked the code for one item, let's just apply that same exact logic and build out the receipt for the entire order. This shows the whole process. We're just repeating that same pattern for the sandwich and the muffin, right? Multiply the quantity by the price to get a subtotal for each one. Then, and this is the key part, we just add all of those individual subtotals together to get our final bill. And voila! This is what our program creates. A beautiful, clean, formatted receipt that shows every single item, how it was calculated, and that final total at the bottom. We've built a real, working billing system with just a handful of variables.
But wait, we're not quite done. A good system isn't just one that works. It's one that's flexible. So let's add one final challenge to really show off the power of what we've just built.
This is a classic real-world problem, right? Your system is working perfectly, and then a customer hands you a coupon. How do you handle that without having to rewrite everything?
Let's say it's a pretty good coupon, too. A generous 20% off the entire bill. How do we update our code to handle this new twist? Now, check this out. This is where the magic of variables really shines. Because we use variables, we already have that subtotal saved. So all we have to do is create a new variable, let's call it discount, and tell the computer to calculate it by multiplying our subtotal by 0.20. Then, we just subtract that discount amount to get the final bill. We added a huge new feature with just 2 new lines of code. It's incredible.
And here it is, the grand finale. Our final receipt now correctly shows the original subtotal, it calculates and clearly displays that 20% discount, and then it presents the new, lower final bill to the customer. This is a complete, totally satisfying solution.
Exactly. By just embracing this simple idea of variables, we've created a system that isn't just functional, but it's also adaptable and totally ready for real-world situations. That is the absolute core of smart programming.
So where do you go from here? Now that you can handle items and discounts, what about adding sales tax or a tip calculator? Maybe you could add different prices for a small, medium, or large coffee. The foundation you've built right here is the launching pad for all of those features and so much more. The possibilities are all yours to explore.